Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Toon Review for tonight's Newcastle United news show. Me and Alex, welcome everybody, and as usual, please do like the show if you enjoy it. It pushes us out there, and the more likes we get, it pushes the channel out worldwide for more people to find us. And of course, if you're new, please do subscribe. It is the battle to 36,000 now, and with your help, we'll get there sooner rather than later. And it's free to do so. So please hit that notification bell as well so you never miss an upload or a live show. You can support the channel in the usual two ways. First of all, via Super Chat, which is the $sign at the bottom of the live chat. That will guarantee your comment to be read out in the show. And of course, membership is available as well if you hit that join button just underneath us. Plenty coming up for our members in the vein of prizes. Lots of prizes to give away soon again. And, of course, a massive thank you to Mamaroo Records for sponsoring the channel. If you're ever based near Whitley Bay, pop in and see Steve for all your music merchandise, your vinyls, your CDs, your sports merch, gift cards, and, of course, they are online as well. That is pinned at the top of the description. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening. Good evening to everybody in Viewerland and all of the Magpie Massive.
Yes, absolutely. Now, there is frustration grown, I feel, Alex, across the Newcastle United fan base regarding transfers. Of course, I did a video earlier on today with the news that Leon had basically willing to sell Ryan Cherky at an absolute bargain price of just over 18.5 million. I just think he'd be a wonderful signing for us. But Newcastle, whenever I read reports about people leaving, such as Lloyd Kelly, Miggy Almiron, of course, there's always the sentence underneath saying that Newcastle want to reiterate that even if they do let these players go, they aren't bringing anybody in. I just refuse to believe that, Alex.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like it's a smart business decision or a sporting decision. Based on the goals we've got and where we could finish if we keep pushing. I feel like it pays for itself if we get it right. I know there's PSR constraints and there are financial constraints and there are things we've got to do. However, if we do get some serious injuries to two or three key players, there's no chance.
We're in the same situation as last season as far as I'm concerned, Alex, if we do that.
Yeah, we might be able to meander through to 6th, 7th or 8th, possibly. I think we're more than good enough for that. But some of our rotation players have, Barnes getting injured, Willock not quite being able to get up to speed, Fabian Schär with a lot of errors, Trippier looking a little bit shaky when he's been used. So a lot of the rotation's been a bit meh. We've got no spare right winger because we're not really using Miggy at all. And even when we do, obviously, he's not quite at the level we need him to be at. So, yeah, it's concerning because if we do have to start using those players consistently, I'm not sure we're going to get to.
I mean, this is I've just seen a comment there saying it's a very simmering frustration amongst the Newcastle fan base right now. Listen, FFP and PSR and all of this shit have completely ruined any excitement of transfer windows, completely ballsed it up. The excitement has gone because everybody is just worried now about overstepping the mark and things like that, and clubs have got to be very careful. But on the flip side of that, we keep seeing sort of Man City going out there and spending again. There's other teams spending. And as usual, we seem to be at a standstill. Now, don't get me wrong. In my opinion, our first 11 is good enough to play and beat anybody at the minute. A fully fit first 11. But if these injuries do crop up and we don't add to the squad, I think we're only asking for serious trouble. And lessons. Sort of,
well, not serious trouble. We're just not going to be able to get top 4. We will.
Because the league position we're in, but we would slide down the table, which is not what we want. And of course, it would start. It would start a wildfire because obviously everybody would get back on Eddie's back, the players' backs, and say that this hasn't worked. But Eddie needs to be backed in this window. He has to be. I just cannot fathom for the life of me why they wouldn't bring at least one player in. It makes no sense at all to me. Yes, fair enough. Talk about PSR restraints and all of this, but if we are getting rid of Kelly and Almiron, surely that opens up one opportunity for a signing, Alex.
100%, 100%. There's a lot of players out there. Everybody points to Huijsen of Spurs. A lot of players that have been picked up by sort of Fulham, Brentford, that are kicking on and doing really well. Bournemouth. There are players out there for sort of 10, 12, 15, 20 million in that bracket that it's just down to talent ID and it's down to being able to offer them progression. Obviously, it's easier for a club like Bournemouth and Brentford because you can offer first-team football. It's going to be more available. Whereas if we try and sign a left-sided centre-half or a left-footed defender now, they're looking at the back end of our squad going, Christ, I'm never going to get a game unless I'm absolutely elite. He's not going to get in ahead of Botman and Lewis Hall when they're fit. And it's people point to not being able to spend. I mean, I've seen a few comments about Aston Villa. Let's not beat around the bush. Aston Villa sold Diaby for 60 million. They sold Douglas Luiz for 50, or 40 or 50. So that's close to 100 million of players out the door. They got rid of Cameron Archer for 16, 17. Philogene went to Ipswich. I'm looking at it now. There's a kid who went to Everton for about 10. Sanson went for a few mil. They got rid of loads. They got so much off the books. They got loads of transfer value in, loads of wages off the books. So that's why Villa have been able to keep going. We haven't done that. We've not got 100 mil of outgoings. That's why we can't do it. And the problem is we're still kind of suffering from poor recruitment back in the day, poor contract negotiations as well. We've got a lot of players on the books that still I have got a query for you, by the way. I haven't had enough time today. I've been too busy trying to get everything sorted. I've got my phone redone. What's going on with Jamal Lewis? Because I'm pretty sure his loan ended in Brazil.
Yeah, he's back
at the end of December.
Apparently he's back, but he's injured. He's
injured. He's not done anything.
You tell me, matey, but that was what I last heard about Jamal Lewis, that he was back. His loan had ended, and he was back, but he was injured.
But this is essentially what they don't have, Villa. They don't have Isaac Hayden's and Jamal Lewis is still floating around on the wage bill. We still do 3 years later.
Right, we just got a lot of people celebrating anniversaries on memberships. Martin Brophy, 14 months. Thank you, mate. I hate to say it, but we made more signings under Ashley. This will be 3 disappointing windows in a row if we don't sign anyone. Jamie Toon Till I Die's been with us for 4 months. Thank you very much, Jamie. If we don't get Cherky, then I don't think we will get Champions League. Keith Truscott, 28 months. How the hell can they not bring anyone in after that Bournemouth performance? Serious questions have to be asked if this becomes another waste of time. Peter, member for 21 months, says, unfortunately, the cartel have managed to kill the goose that lays the golden egg. Hence, the transfer windows are now crap. James Ellison, 31 months. I really feel the board ambitions have changed and we are not getting the backing that was promised at the start of the takeover. Chippers, a member for an incredible 37 months, says Romano is confirming that the Miggy deal is nearly done. Jeffrey Brunt. Jeffrey Brunt with the super chat saying, is Billy any better, Paul? No, there's no update on Billy at the moment, guys, but he has seen all your well wishes, so thank you to everybody for that. Nick Thornton says Lewis's loan was ended because of an ACL injury. Cool. Jim Bob, thank you for your super chat, and also Emma, thank you for yours. Hi, Paul and Alex, sending well wishes to Billy. Thanks very much for that as well. The thing is, Alex, if you recall back at the end of the summer transfer window, everybody was having a real go at Mitchell and what the hell was he doing, etc., etc. And a lot of people, including us, said let's judge him in January and let's see where we are as a transfer window in January. Right now, as it stands, that window is looking again like nothing's going to happen, as in players coming in. So, do you put any sort of blame onto Mitchell for this, or is it simply because of PSR? How often are we going to... Is PSR an easy cop-out for the hierarchy at Newcastle for not bringing anybody in?
No, I don't think so. I think the chairman still wants to be the best club in the world and win
Yep.
everything. Mitchell is one of the best in class, and Eddie Howe's been retained because he's shown that he can keep improving. And when it does go wrong, he's shown the ability to learn and get us out of a hole. To be in a position where some of the fan base are calling for a sacking and to go on 9 wins in a row is quite unheard of. I think it's pretty much unheard of.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's miraculous. So we do need to just maybe not. We're spinning our wheels a little bit at the moment, in that we know for about 18 months, 2 years, when we can get everybody who's a first team member on the pitch up to full speed, full fitness, intensity, we can blow away teams and we're fantastic. We know we are. But it's about squad building now. It's more than just that. You know, we've brought in players to be a good side. I'd probably say we're definitely in the top sort of between 4 to 6 in the best teams in the league. And we can beat anybody on our day. But that's not about that in the Premier League. It's about points accumulation over a long, hard season. And it's about winning points when maybe you didn't deserve them, and being a bit of consistency, a bit of luck. And it's squad building. So this is where Mitchell needs to earn his money. And at the moment, yeah, potentially it's PSR. I don't think it's an excuse. I think Eddie's being very upfront and honest about that. I think maybe we were a little bit naive previously in extending contracts that maybe shouldn't have been. I think the Miggy contract extension was maybe a little bit premature. You know, we got a bit excited with that. I don't think the club's going to be as willing to just fork out extensions willy-nilly anymore going forward, unless it's really necessary. But yeah, we're restricted because we've got so many wages still on the books. We've got so many players that don't play for us that are on the books. We've got 5 odd goalkeepers. We use like 2. And we've got the odds and sods of Hayden and Jamal Lewis, and it's too much. And then we've got players that we're trying to sell that we can't sell. We've been trying to sell Hayden, Miggy. I mean, Wilson at the moment is just not. He's not used. I mean, how many appearances he got this season? 2? Is it 2 appearances? I mean, we're approaching February now. I mean, I could be wrong with the appearances, but it's not many. So I'm not going to blame Mitchell for the financial situation. As long as he's sitting on a hotbed of talent ID, and once we've got something, once we sell some players, that trigger gets pulled, then we'll have to wait and see.
Well, there's a lot of people coming through the chat extremely frustrated with Mitchell. So I guess everybody's going to have their opinion on it.
Might not be on him though.
Well,
there's an argument to be made that this is down to Amanda.
Well,
but people really won't like that.
Speaking of Amanda, maybe Amanda would have clarified our situation a little bit better. There seems to be nothing coming from the football club themselves, apart from Eddie just saying, well, you know, PSR this, PSR that. There's no clarification from anybody at the minute. And I think I
mean, my personal opinion, and this is pure speculation, is that the hierarchy naively thought they would be able to move on certain players that since have been a lot more difficult to move on, i.e. the Dubravkas. Obviously that situation has now changed, but the Miggy, Wilson, Dubravka, players like that, I think they thought they were going to be able to get rid of, and it didn't materialize, and we had to quickly panic and sell Minte and Anderson. That was pre-Mitchell, so
yeah. Tarek, a member for 27 months, says lack of January transfer window action makes Turkey look good. Any port in a storm when we're desperate. Still don't fully understand our incoming policy. Keith Truscott with the super chat says, I'm sure I saw that no club has broken PSR rules. So don't that mean we're on a clean plate and can buy as its new 3-year period now? Or am I completely wrong? I'm not sure. Martin Brophy with the super chat says, should we take a punt on Anthony on the right wing? Are you meaning Anthony from Manchester United? Because if you are, he's gone. He's out on loan anyway. He's gone to he's gone to La Liga. So that's a pretty much.
That doesn't even matter. It's still a hard no if he was available.
Good God, why
I wouldn't take him on a 0 wage.
Yeah, dear God, Anthony, bloody hell. I mean, we'd be scratching, totally clawing at straws. Jesus Christ. Nick Thornton says, our current predicament is down to Amanda. as was the summer debacle. Mitchell can't spend if we are crucified by PSR. Predator says, not being funny, but we've heard absolutely jack shit from Mitchell about anything so far. Easy to forget the bloke's even there.
Yeah, but it's not mandatory to be.
He's not front line. I mean, you very rarely hear from sport directors, do you? To be fair,
yeah, not everybody is like Amanda. Amanda won everybody's hearts, but did she have the ability to do things long term? I don't know. Like Mitchell's not like that. Mitchell was a player, and he's a head of recruit. He was a scout. He was a head of recruitment. I know he's now delved into the world of being a sporting director, but he is talent identification first and foremost, and sorting out a squad. That is literally his job. Well, that is what his skill set is.
Yep. James Morrison with a super chat says, Spurs did this with no signings for 3 windows. You can't be mad at Mitchell. He's come into a shit show. But this summer, big rebuild with the contracts. Listen, I agree that it will be a big summer for us because of the contracts that are running out, etc. However, we need to be careful because we still have to bring in players to help us, or to bring in top players. We need to be in the top tournaments. And this is what we said last season as well. We have to be up there. And if we're not up there, that won't attract the big players if we're not in Europe.
I think the issue is the punishments coming every year. If you don't, and it's what Eddie Howe said in his interview, if you're not compliant by June 30th, is it June 30th? I think it's June 30th.
Something around that,
and you get a smack, and you get a points deduction, and goddamn well if we do something wrong, they will throw the book at us.
Oh God, they're just waiting for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've got to be so careful. And he said, it's not that the pot of money for Gahey has disappeared. It's that we were going to have to be strategic if we spent that anyway. We were going to have to recoup that into some capacity.
But I think that is a frustration, Alex, when we see us in the summer, go offering near enough 70 million quid. And then, then we go for, who was it at the end of the window? The Nottingham Forest guy. I can't remember his name now. The right side. Who? Who was the right side guy?
Anthony Elanga.
Elanga, that's him.
Elanga,
yeah, 40 odd million for him. Yet we're not putting any bids in for anybody in this window.
Yeah, but obviously there wasn't the money to spend on him. It was going to have to be recouped. So that would have meant
surely if we're getting rid of Miggy and Lloyd Kelly, there's a chance that there should be an opportunity to bring a player in. Surely, to God, there has to be.
Yeah. Well, you'd think so. It depends what the target priority is. It depends. Are we wanting 1 or 2 young players who are 8, 10, 12 million that are maybe not ready immediately? Or are we looking at bringing in a first team name? I don't know what the priorities are at this point, because we seem to be getting linked with. I mean, we're getting linked with a lot of right wingers and centre halves.
Yeah,
and we can see that it's a position we're light in. So we're not stupid as a fan base. We can see that that's necessary. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. You guys know just as much as us at the moment. It's just about trying to have an educated guess at what the plan is. And I think there's two schools of thought here. I think there's 2 pathways we can go down. We sell players like Lloyd Kelly with a high bid, or Miggy and players like that, and we get something in the kitty, and we do go and spend in January, and everybody's surprised. It's like, fantastic. Yeah. Or we sell a few players and we still shift this plan to the summer, and we buy bigger in the summer. I think those are the only 2 options.
Well,
we'll do one or the other.
Yeah, if we don't bring in anybody in, it has to be a big summer. It has to be. But I think we're taking an awful risk, given what might happen.
We said that last year.
We will be crippled, because we know we can see that, if injuries happen to this first 11 that we have, we do not have the quality. We have not got the quality to replace those injured players. We just don't. And that's the worry for quite a lot of fans, I think.
See, I've got
2 seconds.
I've just got one thing. Yeah, go on.
Chris at Evermore says, if Mitchell has all these issues, then come out and tell us. Fans are getting sick of this long silence. Are you his agent, Alex? I've never heard such a defense of a bloke who's done sweet FA. I'll let Alex answer that in just a second, because we've just got a couple of super chats. Peter Merrifield says, good evening, Paul and Stato. Why can't the club cancel the contracts of players we don't want? because they'd have to pay
not how that
compensation
works.
as well. It doesn't work. And Ian Toon Trader says, send love to Billy, and this super chat is for Alex's beard trim.
Yeah, all right. My one blade has broken, guys, so I'm looking a bit scratty. I know. I'm sorry. I have a job as well and a real life to go and attend to, so I don't always look as fantastic as I could on camera. I try my best. I'm just here to talk about football.
Well, further on from Chris's comment, he says, I spoke to an actual finance expert, and he said Champions League is paramount in Newcastle, being able to spend. Don't add to this squad again, couple of injuries, and that's pissed away. And Jules has also gifted a Toon Review a membership. Thank you very much, Jules. Do you want to reply to that then, Alex?
Okay. So, Chris, don't get offended. Put your helmet on. So, I agree with you about the Champions League. There is a part of me that thinks we should do what Forest did and overspend just to try and, to solidify in the Premier League and make it count. And it worked. There's Villa who overspent and it's worked. I feel like, why don't we just go and throw some money at a lot of these targets, try and settle the ship? Again, it's potentially bad practice and it could land us in trouble if it goes wrong. That's why I'm not a professional in a football club, because I would gamble and try and push this, but the club are maybe being a bit more reserved with it because it's dangerous doing it that way. And secondly, in regards to Mitchell being a bit more transparent with us, he has no obligation to do so. So this is where I disagree with you. He doesn't care about you specifically or us as a fan base, whether we're in the loop on the transfers goings on.
Yeah, but I think that's what we've become used to under Amanda, Alex, haven't we? We've been used to it.
And that is what people need to be careful of. That's not normal.
No, it's not. But I think
there is. We can have a happy medium between what we had with Mike Ashley.
Yeah,
and the problem is with Amanda versus Mike Ashley it was polar opposites. We went from somebody who absolutely despised us as a fan base, to somebody who absolutely loved us, and it was completely different. I think we need to get used to something a bit more balanced. And we need to let him do his job. He came in the summer, and the plan was, and I saw somebody criticizing they got irked by the fact that he criticized the scouting setup and everything wasn't fit for purpose. It wasn't. Everything was trash. Nixon and a few others managed to get some really tidy signings through the door and deserve massive credit for it. But beyond that, it wasn't fit for purpose at all. Our academy was dross. It was dross. It's only just starting to stabilize now. We've got Harrison in, Finneran. We've got, God knows who else. I'm trying to think of players now. Help me out. Heffernan, Sanusi, Munda. There we go.
There's a good comment here from Yvonne, actually. We appear to bring in directors of this, that, and the other, but nothing on the park for several months. That's why it's frustrating for supporters. I can understand.
Well, yeah, but you need that structure in to get it, because Dan Ashworth snaked us out, so we had to fix it.
Yeah, but
it's not the club's fault that Dan Ashworth snaked us out.
No,
it's just bad luck.
Keith Truscott with the super chat says, all the chat about PSR issues, then the only way to beat it is more revenue, which means a new bigger stadium, which will take forever and a day to beat. Chris at Evermore's come back with a reply for you, Alex. When I find it. He says, shave when we need a player, it will be down to your knees, mate. But he also come back with another one, thanking you for your articulate answer, Alex. He's having a blue Monday, so thank you for the kind reply.
I agree with him with the Champions League stuff. But
yeah. Actually, there it is. I'm on the blue Monday, so my rant heat is well and truly on. Joel says, Amanda and Ashworth and co gambled, and it worked. Just meant we had to sell 2 players 3 years down the line. Gutted to lose Anderson and Minte, but look at everyone we have already bought in. We have made some really good
There's
signings.
people that really want it. There's people that even Predator saying here, we're not asking for him to go for a full press conference, but just a few quotes. He doesn't owe us that. What's that going to solve? If Mitchell releases a tiny little article in a program going, yes, guys, we're working really hard on scouting and signings, that means nothing. That's complete throwaway. It solves nothing. It achieves nothing. And if he did that, I would say a huge portion of the fan base would say that's even worse. Why is he coming out and giving us half truths? Why, is it what's going on here? He can't win either way. I don't think we've had any opportunity for him to show his level yet. Go and look at his CV, at everything he's previously done in terms of squad turnover, developing a squad, player identification, recruitment. It's fantastic. There is a deeper reason than this. Than Mitchell's just forgotten how to do his job. Of course he hasn't. Come on, he's look at his CV. He doesn't just come into the club and then just forget how to recruit properly. He's not a moron. There's obviously something deeper financially in this.
Well, Predator says, Alex, no one's asking for a full-on Mitchell press conference, but a few quotes on the record about scouting on incomings, outgoings would settle a lot of fans.
Yeah, that's what I've just answered.
Silence. Yeah.
That's a throwaway comment, isn't it? It's not going to mean anything to anybody. He might as well just crack on with his job.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Fubar, who's been a member for 17 months, said, if you were playing poker, you don't show your hand until the end. Same thing with the club. If they said we had 150 million, then we get bent over. Nick Thornton says, if anyone, it's Darren Eales that should be talking. Darren Eales is leaving his job, isn't he? I don't think he has to say anything right now, to be honest. Trolls with a super chat says, I blame Howe, not Mitchell, because Mitchell knows Howe won't play a player he doesn't want.
I don't think any manager would.
No. But Trolls, therefore, Trolls is not a fan of Eddie Howe. I think that's fair to say. Niall says we wouldn't have been in that position with Minty and Anderson if Eddie had let Wilson and Trips go for decent money. Hi, it's me. Says, think this is the problem. A lot of clubs have high wages, long contracts, and players they can't shift. Look, the Lloyd Kelly one for me, Alex, is an interesting talking point because there's lots of articles out there today regarding this deal, whether it be a loan deal or a permanent deal. Apparently, Juve came in with 12 to 13 million pounds, round about that, for Lloyd Kelly. Newcastle, on one report, apparently rebuffed that and said they want at least 15. Then I've seen another one saying if it's a loan deal, Newcastle want to put a buy option in there, or that they must buy him in the summer for 30 million quid. Now,
that would be fantastic for us.
It would be for us, but where will we ever get 30 million quid for Lloyd Kelly, Alex? Come on. Let's be honest.
Even Juventus can be a bit silly.
Well, but they're not going to, because Juventus don't have that kind of money. We know the Italian league doesn't have that kind of money to spruce out. So they're not going to pay £30 million for a player, especially if the loan him and he's garbage for them. And they're being forced to buy him in the summer.
Yeah, but these deals like that happen sometimes. You never know. Juventus are currently invincible as far as unless they've played since I last looked at that. But they're actually invincible, but they're not top of the league because they've drawn loads of games.
Napoli are way top of the league in the Serie A.
But yeah, I would like both of those.
13 million quid, Alex. Then why are we hanging out for 15? Let's just get the deal done. You're talking £2 million now for us normal people.
These things.
Yeah, but we got him for nothing. We got him for nothing, and his wages come off the books, which is whatever you read, wherever you read.
Why we're not in the football club, because there's more to it than that. I get that it's just 2 million. I get that, but when you look at all of the other clubs that are doing well, they don't settle for those. They don't let people mug them off for those last 2, 3, 4 million. They stand their ground. They're tough negotiators. They get good money for who they sell, and they recruit well. I want us to be one of those clubs. Fine. Sometimes you've got to give way a little bit because you don't want to lose out on an opportunity. But there's nothing wrong with us being good negotiators and being stern.
No, I
finding a happy medium, isn't it?
Yeah, I understand that, but for the sake of 2 million, I think, given that we, according to the, Eddie can't buy anybody, this would give us an opportunity to at least try and bring somebody in. It's just so painfully frustrating, and I know where all the fans are coming from because we've gone through this so many times, and I think from the pure excitement of the takeover as to what we could actually achieve with PIF's money, and we're not being able to do that. Of course, PSR was brought in to block us. It was rushed in so quickly, it was laughable because we knew exactly why it was being brought in. But it's not to help other clubs. It's really not. It's to keep the cartel safe, and we all know that. But I think it's destroying football, Alex, because fans couldn't wait for the transfer window to come around and see who their club would buy or who would leave the club. But as usual, it's the powers that be that are destroying football and taking the excitement away from the fans again because of restrictions on clubs which are ridiculous to the point where the transfer window is just dead. There's no excitement. And then you look at VAR as well, Alex, when goals are scored and stuff like that. The excitement's just been totally taken away from the game we love.
Well, that's different. So VAR is a different kettle of fish altogether. I know, but in terms of the clubs, absolutely, you're right. It's cheating. It's flat out cheating. It's rewriting the rules once a sporting competition exists to suit a set of teams. Yeah. The fact that Chelsea got away with having all of their debt written off because of their club owner being Russian and because of the global conflict. I personally don't agree with that. I think that's ridiculous. I think you've got clubs in English football in the top flight, in the English pyramid, that have completely ceased to exist. Like Bury completely ceased to exist. You had Bolton with all those troubles. You had Leeds with all those troubles. Chelsea just get a free hit because why? Because they're why? There is no specific reason why they got that pass. If they were going to go into administration,
got away with it as well.
Well, if they go into administration, they go into administration. Why are they suddenly? Why do they get a free write-off? And then on top of that, they completely mugged off the Premier League by then going and playing the system with these contracts. The rules had to be rewritten so you could only amortize over 5 years instead of more, because they were handing everybody 8-year contracts and amortizing it over 8 years. They had to change that. They're then selling hotels to themselves. They're then selling the football team and massively overvaluating it. And they're getting away with all of these things with no points deductions. There is also, I believe, some controversy going on now that's going to be settled with a fine. I can't remember specifically what that's for because they've done so much wrong. And that's only going to be a fine to FIFA or UEFA or somebody that they've broken some rules. No points deductions, no bans, nothing. And then when you look at things like Manchester City are apparently guilty of or have been accused of, allegedly, all of these things. And then you look at Manchester United's allowances for legal fees and the transition of ownership. We didn't get any of that. So no, it is a completely rigged system. And we have to get the best and brightest minds to try and work it out our best way, because it's not a level playing field at all. It is the game is completely gone in a financial sense in terms of the Premier League, because they've rewritten the rules to suit certain clubs.
I mean,
and this is not just
Alex, they're in billions of debt. Billions.
Yes. It's down to revenue in. Yep. It's down to the revenue that the rules are written so that you can be in so much debt. They've written the rules in such a way that suits only those top few clubs, even though they've got a lot of problems systemically that in business is terrible when you're in that much debt. Like, they're in enormous amounts of debt. And then when you look at clubs like Nottingham Forest, Everton. So Everton, it wasn't that long ago, they had Ancelotti as their manager. They'd got some great players. They were trying to break that top six. They were trying to break in and do what Aston Villa are doing now. Everton were that club. And then they've just fallen off a cliff. PSR's destroyed them. They lost Ancelotti. They made a few poor financial decisions, and PSR's completely, they're done. They're going to spend the next few years mediocrity trying to stay in the Premier League until they can maybe stabilize and rebuild again. Villa are just about managing through a fantastic manager, really good recruitment, good sales. I've gone on a long enough rant. Nobody wants to hear me complain.
I mean, Looney Tunes says this is a very frustrating show tonight. Well, we've got like over 1,600 people watching, so definitely people are interested in this, but it needs to be talked about. This is what
it's Monday, the 20th of January, and the richest club in the world have not signed a player. Yeah,
of course this is the news. It has to be talked about, and we've got so many people making points in the chat, so it's obviously a very interesting show. Abs puts it better. It's a very frustrating situation. And that's what we're talking about. And you know, whether you like it or not, it's a talking point. But Looney Tunes says, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's frustrating because we have no answers. I knew what you were getting at, mate. And that's why we're doing it, because we have to talk about it, because all the fans are getting so frustrated. It does help if we all talk about it and find, you know, is there any way that Newcastle can get around this? Ian says with the super chat saying EPL is eating itself from the inside out for no reason. Peter Garthwaite says there are some reports Eddie is refusing to let average players leave, and this is stifling our progress in the transfer market, and he won't play the youth. Keith Truscott with a super chat as well, saying everyone knows it's a corrupt system, but at the end of the day, what can we seriously do about it? Every turn we're stopped, and we really are helpless to stop it. Well, I've seen a couple of people, Alex, mention in the chat regarding what happened with the Super League when that was banded around. The fans all got together and did something about it. Is it coming to the point where the fans need to make themselves heard, get together, make themselves heard, that the game that the fans love, and we keep going week in, week out to the football and everybody loves it, it's been destroyed by stupid rules that have been put in to, say we've had enough of this cartel crap. Something has to give.
I think it's too far gone. You've got to remember that the fan base of the Big Six is enormous because of the last 20 years and 25 years of growth and social media and marketing. Or there's so many of them. The Arsenal fan base is enormous. And when anything happens globally, God, do you hear about it from the Arsenal fans to do with football? And I don't think there's enough of us. I think they're all brainwashed. They think that we're just crying that we just about things that we don't know anything about. They think that we're inept. We don't understand it. We're just from sort of lesser clubs, and we don't understand how football really works because we don't support a top club. And I think they're brainwashed. They don't seem to understand that the rules are written by their owners. When you've got secret meetings with Premier League chiefs, with the owners of Manchester United, of Liverpool, of Arsenal, it's all underhand. It's all secret. There are pictures of it. They're just having dinner. Where's everyone else? Where's the other Premier League chiefs? Where's the other club owners?
Some of them clearly haven't got the balls, Alex. They don't want to upset the apple cart, and we know that. I think the last Premier League vote proved that there was some clubs who were making the mouths go and not happy about certain situations, and then when the vote came in, they voted with the cartel.
Yes.
So, it's clear.
Well, they've been threatened. Clearly, well, allegedly. I'm saying allegedly they've been threatened. I'm not saying they've been actually threatened. But and isn't it amazing how that whenever Manchester United or Arsenal or Liverpool, whenever they want to do something, isn't it innovative and creative? It's so good. But whenever a different club has a bit of an opportunity to do something financially, quick emergency meeting.
Yeah.
Avengers assembled, cartel, everybody quick, Big Six, get in a room. Let's go sort this out. Let's go chop this off before it gets any worse for us.
That's exactly what it is.
It's
Keith Truscott says, point of interest, Alex, richest owners, not the club. Thanks to PSR.
I am aware of that. It's just, it's fun to say.
Yeah, it is. But I'm just reading a report here, Alex. It's just broke on Give Me Sport, whatever that is, saying that Newcastle United are, could activate Alex Baena, Villarreal winger, 51 million quid or euros, or 51 million quid.
Is he a right winger?
He is a right winger, yeah. But it says that there's a host of clubs, including Forest and Bayern Munich, etc. But see, like, I can't see that even happening because 51 million quid, right?
To the show, not tomorrow, Wednesday, then, shall we?
Yeah, but just 51 million quid. We're not spending a penny out. Where's that money coming from?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Should we talk about some loans and some players and some stuff?
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's heard, but Alex Murphy has officially gone out on loan to Bolton Wanderers.
The Wanderers, yes, he has.
We wish him the best of luck. He's done a nice little interview as well. So it is available on the Bolton Wanderers Twitter, I believe, possibly their YouTube as well.
Yeah.
He says he's very excited to join Bolton. It has apparently they've been in talks for a couple of weeks. He's just been waiting for the green light. He says he's been training with the first team for over a year and he was kind of itching to play. He's learned a lot.
Said he was. One report I read today said he was unhappy with Eddie Howe. Honestly, I don't think he's unhappy with Eddie Howe at all. I think he's frustrated at the lack of first team opportunities, and rightly so. He's 20-year-old. He's chomping at the bit. I think it's a great move for him.
Yeah, well, when you got the sort of players in front of him, he's going to have to wait his turn. He's not as good as Lewis Hall, and you've got Botman and Byrne, and there's a lot of players there, and Kelly came in as well. So it's one of those. Travis Hearns has gone to. Travis Hearns has joined Danish side Aalborg BK on loan for the rest of the season. Geordie Josh was a little bit confused earlier on Twitter. We have since clarified. He was really concerned that their league season ends in like 5 games. It doesn't. The Danish league splits into 2 tiers halfway through the season. It's fine. Don't worry about it. He's going to play a full season,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those leagues where it does that. Then they're not a terrible side, so it's good for him. I believe we do also have a little speech from AAB's sporting director James Gow. Travis is a young, hungry, and talented central midfielder who is best as a 6, but can also fill the 8 position. He's technically skilled and has a good forward flow in his game. He is a sure of passing. This has definitely been Google translated. Also under pressure, as well as having dynamism and good acceleration. And overall, Travis covers a large area and works hard throughout the entire match. There's a little picture of him in his little shirt, and he looks very happy. So that's 2 players out on loan. So not the best loans. I'm not quite so sure on Aalborg, but I think Travis Hearns is. Where is he from? Is he Norwegian? So he's Scandinavian. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's two young players who have been on the fringes of the first team in cup games and preseason games. Travis Hearns and Alex Murphy. So good that they're both out on loan. What else have we got? Jamie Miley's coming.
Garant Kuol was back in the Newcastle United youth side.
He was. I've got these up.
Yeah, I don't know how he did. And by the way, at one point, Alex, John Joe Shelby's gone to Burnley for the rest of the season.
I did see that. English football. I thought that was interesting. I was surprised to see he's only 32. I feel like he's older than that, but I guess he's not. Well, his legs really did go, didn't they?
He's been around a long time. A long time. Collix asks a question, Alex. If we loan out players, does that free up money for us?
It depends on who's paying the wages and how we've agreed to do that. I can't imagine the Danish side are paying much of Travis's wages, although they are on a youth contract, so they're likely to be on considerably lower money. I don't think it's going to be anything impactful enough to make a difference to first team signings, if that's what you're asking. No.
Looney, I think Matt Targett came in on loan as well, didn't he? That was a loan deal originally. So I think they're the only 2 though. Targett.
Did we have a loan to buy clause, or was it just a loan and then we just bought him? I'm not sure which one it was.
It hasn't exactly been a success. Anyway.
I think it didn't help at full time that Bruno ran up to Amanda and went, "Buy him, buy him." It kind of, everybody kind of had to go, okay, well, we like Matt Targett now. So
yeah, absolutely. Apparently, Kuol scored. Oh, well, there you go.
Well, we've got both of the lineups for the U21s. It's weird. The U21s and the U18s had a weird mishmash of players. So the U18s played against Aston Villa. So January the 16th, the FA Youth Cup 4th round. And we started a few players I would have expected to maybe be in the under-21 squad. Shahar, the right back, was in at captain, who is obviously involved in the international setup with England. Yeah. You've got Finneran, which I thought was maybe being used at the higher age bracket. Munda was in the U18s as well, and Sanusi. Mm-hmm. So a lot of players I thought, I'm a little bit surprised they were in the U18s, to be completely honest. But there's a good few players in there. And then the U21s lost 4-2 to Southampton the day after. This was 3 days ago. In that lineup, we had Stanton, Charlton, Heffernan was the captain. I'm surprised he's not gone out on loan, although he might not be old enough, I guess, yet. Garang Kuol was in as the 7. Jamie Miley, of course, because he's been recalled from his loan. We got Donaldson, Harrison, stuff like that. Where is Parkinson? Is he out on loan or is he injured?
I think he's gone on
I
loan.
can't remember.
I think. Don't quote me. Someone on the chat will know better than I do. But I'm
the
sure
websites aren't very good at listing out all of our younger players, academy players. They only care about senior squad, so it's hard to keep track of all of these players.
Yeah. So is it official? Almiron has left the building. 11 million. Not official yet, mate. It is. I've just read what Romano's put, and it's expected to go through in the coming days. So that could be tomorrow, but sometime this week. It looks like Miggy will be leaving. And of course, we wish him well. Give Amanda all the money she wants just to try and get her back. That ain't happening, matey. Nick says Parkinson is out on loan. Pivas and Salia will be here in the summer.
Yeah, we were getting to them. So Pivas and Salia, the new signings. Of course, we've not mentioned Harrison Ashby is still out on loan, as is Joe White. So those two to come back.
Isaac Hayden.
No, I'm not doing. No, we're not talking about Isaac. But okay. Officially, Alex Murphy, Hearns. You've got Pivas and Salia. You've got Joe White, Ashby, Isaac Hayden, and then we need to find a home for Jamal Lewis. When is his contract up? Sure, it is at the end of this season.
Got to be this season, surely to God.
It is. It's the end of this season. So, is he just going to have a bit of a jolly till May? Is that what we're doing? Well, till June the 30th, it expires. I don't know. I mean, he's on a lot of biscuits as well. So,
a few people mentioning the Lasses team in the chat as well. Lady Sam will be back tomorrow with the War Lasses show because they've made some fantastic signings in recent days. Three players that brought in as well.
This evening.
Yeah, they have some very, very good players. So Sam will be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for you with the War Lasses show. And do tune in, give her your support, guys. And she'll go through all the new signings, all the latest games. Chris and Evermore's had a very bad day. At least Sam can talk about signings. Yeah, well, at least somebody can. Yeah, the Lasses are bringing players in left, right, and centre at the minute. So, Baz Down Under says Jamie Miley is recalled off loan and is playing under 21. How does that work? Yeah, look, apparently Jamie Miley was brought back to sell. That's the
rumour.
That was being reported, but as soon as he came back, he was stuck in the under 21 team. So, but I guess while he's here, they may as well utilize him, and if there's a move going to go through, then fair enough.
Well, I mean, let's not forget, Alex Murphy's just let the cat out of the bag, saying the Bolton loan was on the cards for several weeks. So there might be things ongoing with a lot of these players that we're not privy to. So, Harrison Ashby, by the way, is playing regularly for QPR. I've just checked. He's playing all their games. He had a shocker in the FA Cup against Leicester. But beyond that, he looks like he's doing okay. Reasonable ratings. He's a regular. So, best case scenario, he's a backup. I guess I'm going to say other best case scenario, we get a transfer fee for him. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. Look, he's not going to be part of Newcastle's future, Harrison Ashby.
Well, I'd never fully count anybody out, but it's looking unlikely.
Yeah. By the way, Elliot Anderson, scored a cracking goal for Forest on the same day that Minte and Chris Wood, of course, all scored. I think Chris Wood's got 14 this season. He's absolutely having the time of his life. Yvonne says if Miggy goes at the end of the month and the club then turn around to say we didn't have enough time to sign anyone, I will be spitting blood.
Well, I'll get a basin ready then.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Brian says, whatever happened to the Mexican kid?
He's still there because I follow him on Twitter and he tweeted the other day. He actually still has, bless him, he still has signing for Newcastle as his pinned tweet, which is quite cute. But yeah, he's back playing for, what was the name of it? Something Laguna in Mexico. He's back there. Santiago, I can never remember which is the one from the movie and which is the real one. Munoz. I think Munoz is the real one.
Munoz,
I think he's 22 years old now. Yeah, he's back playing for his Mexican club. But he's clearly very happy that he did play for us because it's at the top of his Twitter.
Indeed. Well, it's not a bad little showcase for him to put Newcastle as a previous club. Adnan says, do you think we can finish for Europe with no depth? Well, look, this is well, any position in Europe. I think we can.
Yes.
I think it's a hell of a risk, though. And this is what I was saying at the start of the show. I think it's a huge risk that they're taking if they don't bring anybody in, because they are relying on a lot of the players staying fit. I mean, could you imagine, Alex, that maybe, you know, through February, March, we pick up a couple of suspensions and a couple of injuries, and we lose like 4 players from that starting 11. It's a hell of a risk, isn't it?
This is exactly what I was waffling on about the last show we did. If we suddenly get Isak out with a hamstring, Bruno gets a suspension or a knock, and I mean, even that, just those two is enough to be a problem. We can't replace their impact and quality and output. We just can't do it. So if we want to be a team, you know, can we still win games? Yeah, we can, but we're actually starting to come into a really difficult period of fixtures. So, you know, we've got the Carabao Cup game against Arsenal coming up. I guess Birmingham City isn't a massive tie, but they're a very good side in their division and are very used to winning football matches, and will be rather confident, especially at home. So we can't be going into that lazy. And then we've got a lot of big games. I mean, what have we got coming up? What sort of February? Are we playing like City and stuff?
February's a tough month, man.
I think it is.
Looking at Keith Truscott says, didn't Murphy come off with a calf issue?
SofaScore's got it down that he came off injured, but I've not read it anywhere. So
I haven't read it anywhere either. I don't think it's a major injury.
I mean, we start off, to be fair, at St James's Park against Fulham. So doable. As long as we turn up, doable. But then it gets a bit more squeaky. It's the Arsenal game in the Cup, which I know we're 2-0 up, but still scary. Then we've got Birmingham City away 3 days later in the FA Cup. Then we've got Man City away. Then it's Forest at home, and then it's Liverpool away. So it starts to just get grindy. And then we start March away to West Ham as well. So we've had our nice sort of better run. This is now going to start to get sweaty. You know, Southampton away and Fulham are our next 2 fixtures. So
don't forget, Alex, you know, we've got the Carabao second leg as well.
Yeah, no, I know. But our next 2 fixtures is Southampton away, Fulham at home. So those are a little bit easier on paper. That being said, Fulham trashed us last time we played them. So we've got to be very careful. But then after the Southampton Fulham game, it starts to get right. It's go time. It's a really tough February. If we come out of the end of Feb and we've won most of our games, we'll be absolutely flying. But that is a tough ask. We've already done well to turn our season round from the dross that we were doing in December at the start of December. But now this is to make the season. Now we've saved our season. Now this is to make our season. Feb is a big month.
Well, look, all we can do is I guess see what happens. You know, we have to. At the end of the day, we have to put our trust in who's at the club at the moment, and whether you agree with that or not, that just we have to. We have no choice as fans. We have to believe that what they're doing behind the scenes is in the club's best interest. And to be fair, Eddie keeps saying that in his press conferences, saying that whatever we do is in the club's best interest. It is for the club. So we have to take that as gospel, whether it be with transfers or contract negotiations, whatever it may be. They are focused on the football club. And I think it's a hell of a risk not signing anybody in this window. And if that happens, then surely with all the contracts ending in the summer and then we move on to the transfer window, then that has to be a big turnaround because but it all depends, Alex, for me, is where we frigging finish as to who we can bring in.
Yeah, well, on the flip side to what you said, it's also could be a risk to bring in players because based on the conversations, it does seem we need to sell if we're going to keep spending. So if we buy right now and sales fall through, we're in trouble. So it seems like it's all risky. we're treading a dangerous line at the moment. I appreciate we've not got Champions League football, but it looks like we've gone fairly. It looks like we're probably going to go quite deep in both cup competitions. I mean, we're already in the back end of the semi-final against Arsenal, and then Birmingham City on paper is a very winnable game. If we don't win that, then that's a poor result. So it's deep runs in both cups. So we're still getting challenged to a level, especially with the style of play we're using. We're not playing like Forest. We play at 100 miles an hour. We want to get in people's faces all the time, and it comes crashing down when we run out of energy, as has been shown in sort of the Wolves and in the game against Bournemouth. So it's all risky. It's all risky. This is what Eddie Howe gets paid the big money for. He's going to have to resolve this. If people aren't going to back him with players because of financial issues, there's not a lot Eddie can do about that. He's just got to try and make this work. And credit to him. I think people need to start respecting Eddie Howe, because if he's not being backed, look what he's doing with the squad so far this season. I mean, we're currently, I think we're in 5th because of that loss to Bournemouth. But, to be navigating what we are, we've barely added to the first team in ages. Like, it's hard.
Well, it's certainly been an interesting conversation tonight. Peter Garthwaite with a super chat saying, do you think the board don't trust Eddie Howe? Nah. To be honest, I think if they didn't trust Eddie, I think he'd be gone by now, if I'm openly honest with you. I think that they've released him when we went through the bad run at the start of the season. I think they're fully behind Eddie Howe, but they just can't. They need to back him. They need to back him and show that they're backing him. Otherwise, those kind of rumours will crop up again.
Well, if there's no money, then there's nothing to back him with, isn't there?
Exactly. But thank you very much, everybody, for taking part in the conversation tonight. It's been a good one, as usual. Thank you for your super chats and memberships, etc. Thank you, Mods. Thank you, Alex. And a massive thank you to you guys out there. Please do give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the show tonight. And, of course, if you're new, please do subscribe. Come and be part of this fantastic community that we have on the Toon Review. And, of course, thank you to Mamaroo Records for sponsoring the channel. Based in Whitley Bay, head there for all your music needs. And if you can't get into Whitley Bay, check them out online. That is pinned at the top of the description. Sam is back tomorrow with the War Lasses show at 8 o'clock. So please, guys, tune in and give me your support for that one. And she'll talk about all the new signings and how the Lasses have performed over the last couple of games and what's to come, etc. I'll be back with a new show, no doubt, tomorrow. I'm thinking about bringing a morning news show live. Starting soon, but I'm not sure yet. I'll get your guys' feedback on that later on in the week. If you want to do a live show or just a video recording, but I like doing the lives because you can interact, and it's it's easier to interact than it is on a video because you get thousands of comments which are difficult to reply to. But we'll see what you think. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening, folks, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.
Away are the lads and lasses.
Come back and check on Supreme.